Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. It's Monday morning. It is the morning after the night before where Chelsea ran riot in Wolverhampton. A hat-trick for Noni, a hat-trick of assists for Cole Palmer. We are still buzzing. I can confirm the black coffee this morning is going down like a treat, but I didn't really need it. To wake up the day after a 6-2 Chelsea win in the final week of the transfer window, if this isn't a good enough reason to smack a like on today's video and subscribe to the George Benson football channel if you haven't already done so. And whilst you're at it, if you're buzzing with the win yesterday and you're going to buy yourself the shirt for Chelsea this season, be it the home kit, the away kit, the third kit, GBFC10, using the link in the description, gets you 10% off the order. If it's a £100 kit you're buying, it now costs you 90 because of the discount code. Today, we are going to run through the latest with Victor Osimhen. A bid has been made. Exciting stuff to talk about relating to Chelsea because the fee that Ahly have bid from Saudi Arabia for Osimhen is nowhere near as high as we think it's going to be. And we've got updates from Fabrizio Romano about Chelsea's position with the Victor Osimhen deal. We're also going to talk a little bit about Jadon Sancho. We're going to talk Raheem Sterling. We're going to consider some conversations about Chiesa, maybe. We're also going to talk a little bit today about Kepa, and I'm going to give my thoughts and predictions for what is going to happen here in the final week of the transfer window. I've also got another video dropping later on today. I'm going to try and do like a longer video after 6 things we learned, which is like the things that we may have missed from the game. And I've already recorded it. I think it's a great video. So stay tuned to the channel later on for the second video of this Monday. So let's take a little look first of all at the latest news. Ahly have submitted initial bid to Napoli for Victor Osimhen for package in excess of 65 million euros. That equates to about 55 million. Napoli are prepared to let him go, but no agreement between Nigerian striker and Ahly so far. Deal still far on the player's side. Osimhen will consider options and not open for a loan. More on the Victor Osimhen story. The agreement between Napoli and Ahly for package in excess of 65 million is almost done, pending small details, but this is the good bit. No agreement with Osimhen so far, as Nigerian striker wants an important salary plus key detail release clause to be included. Now, I'm going to say this here. I have been such a massive pusher. I want Osimhen at Chelsea. And I'm not just going to let the fact that we scored 6 goals at Wolves yesterday completely make me backtrack on this idea. But as much as yesterday was obviously a sign that we can score goals even without Victor Osimhen at Chelsea Football Club, I think what's important to reference here is that Victor Osimhen is entering the prime years of his footballing career. And no disrespect to Saudi football, but the reality of the situation is right now players are still only going there because they want a fat paycheck. When Victor Osimhen is saying that he only wants to go to Ahly, potentially, if there's a release clause included in this deal, it's because Victor Osimhen is more than happy, because he's chasing the packet, and that's clearly what motivates him right now. He's happy to go to Saudi Arabia, knowing that if he's there for 2 seasons or even just 1 season, the salary is going to be absolutely huge. And then because there's a release clause there, there'll be clubs like Chelsea, maybe Arsenal, Man United, big European teams, PSG, they're still going to come in for him. So not only can Osimhen still go there, make a shit ton of money, and yet still eventually end up playing for a Champions League club or a top European side again in the future. What this makes me feel right now is that there is going to be a lot of things during this next week where Chelsea are on the verge of making a bid. Osimhen is going to wait until the final moments just to see if he's able to get anything close to the salary that he would get in Saudi Arabia. But obviously, and you've got to realise this, right? The reality is, Osimhen, if he can get the same amount of money that he'll get from Ahly, he's going to stay in Europe. That is just the reality of where the Saudi League is right now. He will stay in Europe if the salary can be matched or at least close from a European club. So, this is also from Sky Caver. Chelsea have been back in talks about signing Victor Osimhen from Napoli. over the past few days. Remember, Lukaku, the Napoli director, was in London. That deal is now done. So Napoli have their striker that they wanted. Difficult deal to do, but terms of potential deal may be becoming more favourable for Chelsea. Chelsea still looking at signing a number 9 this week. Victor Osimhen from Napoli remains a possibility. Any player Chelsea sign has to fit into their wage structure. Up to 7 players set to leave before Friday. None of that really is a big surprise. We know that Chelsea have been waiting and waiting and waiting regarding this Victor Osimhen deal. The later it goes into the window, it becomes a game of chess. It becomes okay, is Osimhen fully 100% only keen on whatever the salary is going to be? If so, we'll just steer clear and let him go to Saudi Arabia. I also think that the way that Maresca, even yesterday in the press conference, he was asked about signings and he kind of just smiled and left. As much as yesterday's result shows us that Nicholas Jackson is still going to score, still going to be a brilliant player for Maresca in his system, dropping deep kind of. I'd say it wasn't like a false 9 striker's performance from Jackson. It was like a 9.5. It was such a great performance from him, scoring an early goal, but also dropping deeper, creating the spaces for Palmer and Noni to exploit in the second half. It was really good from Jackson yesterday. But I still think that Chelsea here, for 65 million euros, if Napoli are going to accept this, it's about 55 million pounds. This is about half what we expected to have to pay for Osimhen, maybe at the start of the window. This is about half the release clause that Osimhen has in his Napoli contract. Now that Napoli have signed Lukaku, the onus is 100% on finding a solution here for Osimhen. But the wages, I mean, I don't know. Is it a case of if the fee really is 55 million, you give Osimhen a fat sign-on bonus and be like, look, you said you wanted Chelsea, you're prioritising Chelsea, this is what we've been led to believe the whole window. Take this big sign-on bonus. The club are not going to pay the huge giant fee that we thought we were going to have to pay. Surely this all now is coming to that obvious conclusion. If it's going to be a case of Napoli see Chelsea come in again and they'll accept a 65 million euro deal from Ahly, but then if Chelsea come in, they'll be like, now we want more from you. If that's the case, then this really will go down to the wire. Chelsea might not want to pay it, and eventually Osimhen may be stuck at Napoli, or he just accepts a deal for a couple of seasons at Saudi Arabia, because this was always the transfer window that he was going to leave. But it's interesting now that if Saudi Arabian clubs are making bids for Osimhen, then Chelsea, we're gonna need to find out quite soon if we're going to get involved with this one, or Osimhen may just bugger off to Saudi Arabia, and if that's the case, then well, there is also talk that Ahly want Ivan Toney as well, which is interesting because they can't sign both of them. So I've got a funny feeling here. Whichever player decides that they will take that Saudi salary to go to Ahly, and it'll be between those two, whoever decides first. If it's Ivan Toney, then they won't go for Osimhen. They'll pull out of that deal. If Osimhen wants to wait, and yet Ivan Toney is like, nah, Brentford aren't going to play me anymore, so I'm going to go there, then the door is wide open still for Chelsea. I think this is a very interesting story that will go down to the wire. Fabrizio Romano has said all summer long, from the start of August until now, Chelsea will really go into the race for Osimhen to see if it's possible at the end of August. And it's now Monday morning. This is the final week of the window. Let's see what Chelsea want to do. Ben Jacobs also confirms here, Chelsea's priority in the final days of the window is a striker, with Osimhen not yet ruled out. Understand CFC and Napoli have made some progress on a proposed structure in the last few days. Chelsea won't proceed unless terms become more favourable. And I think this is solely on the wage demands of Victor Osimhen. Or maybe we will do it, but we're just playing that game of chess. That's exactly what I think is happening here. So we've also got to discuss in this video today Jadon Sancho. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about Kepa. Understand Bournemouth are closing in on deal to sign Kepa from Chelsea. This is good. Still key details to sort, but loan deal until June 2025, extending his contract at CFC until 2026, now close after late night talks. If all good later today, Kepa will travel for medical tests. The issue that I have here is that Kepa's been on quite big wages on that 7-year contract. So if Chelsea are extending his deal, we have struggled so much to get rid of Kepa the whole time since we realised that he wasn't going to be Chelsea's #1 keeper. We've also bought in almost a starting 11 full of goalkeepers since then as well. So we know that Kepa's got no future here at Chelsea. And if we can't secure a permanent sale for him, it's kind of annoying that he's still got that guaranteed salary from Chelsea. So I'm hoping that we can agree this deal here with Bournemouth. They take over the vast majority, hopefully, of his wages. And then as a result of, let's just hope for a successful season at Bournemouth, they will then go and buy him at the end of next year. I can also firmly see Kepa being like, nah, I don't want to play for Bournemouth because he played for Real Madrid last season. So Kepa, as much as it's absolutely nowhere near the scale of like frustration that he's still around, like Lukaku, it is one of those where it's like, this is again a sign of the long-term issues that Chelsea have had with recruitment. We've made great signings, we've made bargain signings, but we've also made those signings that just cost so much money, threw so much wages at them, and it's just been a disaster. That's the reality of the situation. We move into the final story of the day. Chelsea and Juventus exploring deal for Manchester United. Jadon Sancho. Juve want a loan. It's thought Chelsea proposal could include a player going the other way. United prefer permanent, but loan not ruled out. Sancho travelled to Brighton, but was left out of the squad. Chelsea have currently got Sterling that we want out of the club. There's also Ben Chilwell. Man United have been long-term admirers of Ben Chilwell. There's two issues for me. The first one is that Jadon Sancho has caused a lot of trouble at Manchester United, whether that is purely an Erik ten Hag thing, and maybe Sancho is one of those players that just needs to be loved at the club that he's at, and we'll see those old school Sancho at Dortmund days. There is the potential there, which is why I'm not like, no. Because you remember how good Jadon Sancho was. You remember how badly I wanted him at Chelsea, and a lot of you guys did too. He was a Chelsea fan when he was growing up. I don't want to let this become like the full narrative. I don't want this to take over my judgment here. But as well as that, the wages that Jadon Sancho is on are massive. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be similar to that of Sterling. But I think with Sterling, he knows that he's not really wanted anymore at Chelsea. But I also know that Raheem Sterling sees himself with an opportunity still to get into the new England manager's ideas for getting back into the England squad. So I don't think Sterling is going to want to move to Saudi. I don't really think Sterling is probably going to want to move to Serie A. I think he'll want to stay in the Premier League if he can. He's already played for Liverpool, City and Chelsea. Why not play for Man United too? Is there an opportunity here for Chelsea to strike a deal where Sancho wants out of United, Sterling wants out of Chelsea? Is it just a straight play? I don't know. I don't know what a good deal is here, to be honest. I don't know if I even want Sancho at Chelsea anymore based on the trouble that we've seen at Manchester United. Yes, there's still a talented player in there. And I do think there is a lot here to be said for what Sancho could bring if he was to ever rediscover that Dortmund form. But is it going to happen? But for the wages that he's on, I don't want to see Chelsea paying that. And if we're not going to offer Victor Osimhen those kind of wages, then bloody hell, we shouldn't be doing it to Jadon Sancho. That's the reality of the situation there, but keep an eye on that one. Chelsea have obviously got here Sterling on 300 plus grand a week, and Maresca has publicly made it clear that he's probably not going to play. We saw Neto brilliant yesterday. Mudrik's still starting. You know what I mean? We've got Noni Madueke scoring hat-tricks on the right wing. Sterling is done at Chelsea. That's the reality of the situation here. But do we need Sancho? Like, I don't know anymore. Like, there's part of me that still has this, but I'm trying to just be more rational than over dramatic when it comes to following the heart. And like, maybe he would feel loved at Chelsea and it would just work. I don't know. Thoughts in the comments, please. I could backtrack and go and debate this one with myself all day long. But anyway, wrapping this video up here. Ahly, they're moving for Osimhen. Will Chelsea match it? Or will we keep playing that chess game and move the final piece towards the end of the window? This is Monday. This is your latest Chelsea news. I'll catch you in the video later on today. Subscribe if you're new. Smack a like on this one. I'll see you later.